All right, welcome to another episode of Black Marriage Chronicles. I am super excited today to be bringing this one brother on. Normally I'm interviewing the husband and wife team, but it's just the husband today. So we're gonna get the husband's perspective on marriage, and we're gonna talk about that as well. Like, because I know the question is going to be asked, why isn't the wife here? Why didn't she show up? So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to have a conversation. Why didn't the wife want to participate in this? And that in no way kind of we just want to make sure we have an open mind when we're having this conversation. So we're going to bring Ken on. What's up, Ken?
Hey, hey, how you doing, man?
I'm all right, brother. I do apologize. We're actually live. Are you okay with that? With us
Yeah,
being live?
I'm
Okay,
fine with
great,
that.
great, great. Yeah.
Is this the correct link I need to send to others to be able to look at our podcast? If this
I'll
happening?
send you no, because that'll bring them into the studio. So I'll send you a link where you can I'll send you a link so that you can, if they want to come on, if they want to see this.
Yeah, that's what I see. Yeah, I had a few people that were waiting, and I didn't know the link for it.
Yeah, I'll
So
send that to you. Give me 1 second. They can
okay,
kind of go on the YouTube page because this is live. Give me 1 second. I'll send it to you.
okay, thank
So
you.
how you doing, bro?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good, man. Good, man. Um, And now, so because I know the question is going to be asked, and so we want to kind of let's get the elephant out of the room. Why didn't your wife want to participate in this?
Um, well, one thing so usually on Wednesdays and Thursdays we got grandbaby, and we watch the grandbaby.
Oh, I understand
Yes,
that.
yeah. So, and my stepdaughter, she's pregnant now, and we're
Uh-huh.
getting ready to have a second grandchild.
Okay.
So she wanted to give her some extra help, and
Okay.
so
Okay.
that's what happened. So
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Yeah. No worries. I just sent you the YouTube link so that you can share that with them, and then they'll be able to come, log into YouTube, and they'll be able to comment and stuff like that. But if anybody wants to, once I see the comments, and if they want to come on live, I can also bring them into the studio as well. Hopefully, we get some men in because the title of this one is a husband's perspective. So I want to get what I really want to do is talk to you about your perspective on marriage first before we kind of get into that. I also want you to know that we don't take your participation in this platform lightly because we understand that marriage is a sacred institution, and sometimes the things that happens in the marriage need to remain in the marriage to maintain the sanctity and health of the marriage. But I
Correct.
do appreciate you coming on here and giving me your unfiltered perspective on marriage, especially black marriage. That's the main thing for me. Like I definitely want to promote I want to dispel the myths that are surround black marriage that that they don't work. Black men are not there. They're not showing up, and all this other nonsense that's going on. And that we're here because we want to be here. We want to make our families work. Like we're in it to win it. Whether this is your first time around or your second time around, whatever it is you're married and you're doing what you need to do in order to have a healthy, cohesive marriage. So again,
Definitely.
brother, I appreciate you coming in and sharing your perspective. This is a husband's perspective on marriage, so we want to kind of get into that. So tell me, how long have you and your wife been married? When did y'all meet? How did y'all meet? Let's talk to me about that.
Let's see. We met playing cards.
Playing cards. Okay, that's
So
interesting.
a buddy of mine had sent had a barbecue,
Uh huh.
and this was back in June of 2017.
Uh huh.
And I always went to his house. He stayed over in Southfield, and he had a nice little barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was actually a friend of my buddy's girlfriend.
Okay.
So and I ended up playing cards with her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she was on your
So
team.
she was on my well. First, initially she wasn't. I was playing against her. There was
Okay.
four of us at a me and three ladies at a table playing, and I'm a big time card player. I love
Are
bid
you?
whiz. Yeah, yeah. I'm a
Okay.
tournament. I played tournament bid whiz for years.
Okay.
I've got champion. I've got trophies in my basement and stuff. So I take cards serious. You know,
Okay.
and she was talking junk to me.
Uh
So
oh.
yeah. She was
She was
talking junk
trash
to me.
talking you, bro. You wasn't about to have that.
No.
Like,
And
hold
so,
on, who is this?
yeah.
She
And
don't know
so
who she
what
messing
happened?
with.
Yep. And so we get to talking further, and she was talking about getting ready to be in her best friend's wedding in like a month or two. And she was saying how her friend wanted her to learn how to ballroom dance. And so she was starting to take classes. Literally, this was on a Sunday, and she was going Tuesday to a class at Yesterday's Club on 96 and Telegraph. And on Tuesdays, they teach ballroom lessons. There's a guy there named Mr. Smooth, and he taught basic and advanced classes. And I've been going there for years. I ballroom dance, so I've been doing it for a long time. So I told her, I said, yeah, I ballroom dance. And, we talked about saying, hey, I'll come up there with you, And I met her up there on Tuesday, and she was my partner ever since.
Okay. Dang. So y'all were kind of inseparable, huh?
Yeah.
Met the woman on. Okay. All right. What's your wife's name?
Angela.
Angela. How many children do you guys have?
I have one child.
Okay.
And Angela has 2 children.
Okay. So
we have three. We have 3 altogether.
Y'all have 3 altogether.
Yeah.
How was that? How's that dynamic when you? Because I guess that's what they call blended families. How did you get adjusted to that? How did she get adjusted to it?
So my daughter was the youngest at the time, and Ellis and Lacey, my other 2 kids, they're older. So Lacey was grown and out of the house, and Ellis was, still here. What we decided to do was, when we talked to the kids about it, we gave them a choice, and we asked them, because I had my own house, and Angela had her own place, and we talked with the kids, because I was open with either place, us either staying at her place or staying at my place.
Y'all both had homes?
We both had our own homes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we decided to it didn't matter to me, and I don't think it really mattered to her. So we decided to let the kids make the choice, and we made that choice and stuck with it, and it was good. It was a good choice.
When you say y'all made the choice, you were giving the kids the option, like, to do what? To either live, y'all pack up her home and come with you, or you pack up and go there.
Right. We gave them the choice as to which home they wanted to be in. Yes.
Okay. And what was the final decision?
We moved to Angela's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a lot more benefits living here than staying at my place. So
so did you had to sell your home, or you had it as a rental property?
I ended up selling it. I ended up selling my house. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So everything worked out.
All right. Good. Awesome. How do you and the kids get along?
Wonderful.
From the jump, there was never no issue.
From the jump, no issues. Ellis and Lacey, I don't have no issues with them, and my daughter Ava has no issues with Angela. So everything worked out. Like,
how do the siblings get along?
Everybody gets along fine. Okay. Well, Lacey and Ellis are a little older, so my daughter is only 17 now.
Okay.
And Lacey's like 28, and Ellis is 23. So they're a little. It's an age gap. It's a difference there, but everybody gets along fine. So we see everybody regularly during the week and everything. So everything is good.
Awesome. So Ken, tell me this, like, as a husband, like, and what was the dynamic like for? I want to is the other parent of your, because I don't like to use the word stepkids, and I want to talk about that as well. Is the other parent around of your bonus children around? Your other kids, the ones your wife had?
No, he's actually deceased.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her ex-husband deceased, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what about your wife's relationship with your child's mother?
Non-existent.
Okay.
It is non-existent. There's literally been one interaction in between the both of them. I at the time I was going through a custody case with my daughter, and I ended up getting sole physical custody and sole legal custody of my daughter, and unfortunately that caused a lot of tension between my daughter's mother and my wife and I. So so it's non-existent basically.
All right. What now? How did you navigate that? When you say it caused tension, your wife and your child's mother were having problems? Like, what tension did it cause? I mean, did she resent you for getting custody of your daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And did everything she could to try to get custody back, which caused a lot of confusion in the household here,
Okay.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, what kind of internal struggles did you and your wife go through?
It was stressful dealing with the courts. Stressful dealing with the um, lies and things that were being made up and said about us to go through. And had to fight for to prove otherwise.
No, but I'm saying, did that instance put stress, literal stress, on the
relationship? No.
On the relationship you have with your wife? No.
No.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay. That's what I was looking for.
No, not at all. I honestly think it made us stronger, because
Okay.
that was what we went through was very difficult, and I think it pulled us together even closer.
Okay.
And I'm sure my wife would say that too. So
okay. How long have you guys been married?
We've been married 4.5 years.
4.5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was early on in y'all marriage. Were y'all married at the time when all this stuff was going on? Were y'all engaged?
Yeah, we were married at the time. Right when we were engaged and when we were married. So
Okay.
yeah.
How long after y'all met did you get engaged to marriage? Like, how long was that process? Like, how long did that take?
We met in 2017 and then got engaged in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It happened. Actually, we had our wedding during COVID. So, right when that whole COVID thing was going on and everything.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
You remember when you proposed and how you proposed?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Tell me what happened. How did that play out?
We initially had been talking about it, and
who raised the question of marriage first, you or her?
I want to say both of us. Kind of, we had just been talking about what it would be like to be married.
Okay.
She might say something sometimes, and then I might say something sometimes too. And
had either one of y'all ever been married before?
Yeah, my wife was. She was married for a long time beforehand. Okay. Yep. And I'd never been married before.
Yeah, never been married. Was she skeptical about getting married? Getting remarried? Did she have a desire to be remarried?
She wanted to be remarried.
Okay.
If anybody was skeptical, it would have been me before we got married, because I was always a person beforehand who said I would never get married.
Okay. Okay.
I was always one who didn't see good marriages, and especially Black marriages. And I always thought that I never thought I'd be married. I never thought I would get married.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. You said you were a person that said, "Hey, I don't ever see myself getting married."
Yep.
And you didn't have any good examples of marriages, especially Black marriages.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Where did these bad experiences or bad situations come from?
My surroundings, my family, friends, the other people, acquaintances I knew in general, how many people I worked with that I knew personally and who were having troubled marriages. And I always thought marriage was going to be a downfall and a drag on me, and not wanting to come home and be argumentative and all this and that.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, it's been the best thing. It's been the total opposite of what I thought. Marriage has been the total opposite as what I thought, based on what I thought it was going to be. So,
have you and your wife had a conversation about what your outlook on marriage was? Did she know this?
She know this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, initially. Yeah. But they changed. There was, honestly, she made me feel that, and let me go back. This is something I tell a lot of my female friends, my single female friends and family members. Marriage is a big deal for guys. And I think that the more, I feel like personally, you have to let a guy feel and let a guy be known that and show him that marriage to you is going to be a good thing. It's going to be better than being single. It's going to make you more prosperous. It's going to, it's going to make you feel you got somebody in your corner, somebody you can share good times with, intimate times, and be able to have a safe space to share bad times with. And that you can work together and make sure that the both of you have one common goal and reach towards that.
Mm-hmm.
And with Angela, it came easily. It wasn't she told me what she wanted. I told her what I wanted, and they both aligned,
mm-hmm.
which was key. And then we both worked towards that. So
can you share with us what is it that, if it's too intimate, I get it, but can you share with us with some of those things that what you express to one another where they're aligned? Like, can you share some of those things? Or
yeah, I can share one of them. The biggest one, we were both on the same page financially.
Okay.
We both wanted to retire early, and we did. We put a plan together. And we worked on that plan for 3.5 years. And then she retired in December 2023. Wow. And then I retired literally a year ago in March of last year.
Wow.
So, and we put a plan together, and we stuck to that plan, and it worked. Wow. And we both able to
man, you got to share some of your best practices with us. Like, how y'all make that happen? Like, I'm sure it's a lot of couples that want to retire early. Like, how did y'all make that happen? What did you prior to retiring? What was your field of expertise? What did you do?
I used to work. I was a senior analyst at the utility company, and I managed online help systems and internal intranet websites.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what about your wife? What'd she do?
She was in dialysis center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, that's it. So did y'all have a financial advisor, or y'all just kind of put y'all heads together and came up with a plan and that y'all executed?
We had an advisor, but we had a plan. And I'll say this: I used to always see this at work all the time. I used to always see couples, people that I knew individually, who were broke.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't understand how you have two incomes coming in and somebody got to borrow money and always broke, etc. And it just showed me that, people weren't budgeting their money correctly or living beyond their means. And so, I was already a budgeter before Angela and I met, and she was a budgeter also. And so, we came up with a plan with how we wanted to live and stuck to it, and it worked.
Nice, man. That is nice, bro.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. How many bedrooms do you guys have in your home?
3.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So y'all never. So I'm assuming. So your wife didn't want any more children. You didn't want any more children. Y'all didn't think about expanding your home.
Yeah. No, we didn't want any more children. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Was that talked about beforehand, or that was kind of decided along the way during the course of the relationship?
That was decided a long time ago for me and her.
Okay. Enough said, brother. You ain't got to say nothing else. We ain't got to dig no deeper into that one. I get it. That's what's up. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So everything sounds beautiful, up until this point. What I want to know is, you said you guys are, aligned, everything's, y'all get along well. What was the most difficult thing what has been the most difficult thing about being married?
Well, for me, because I was single for so long, I was always a single guy. All I had to do was worry about myself. So in that sense, for me, it would have made me selfish. You know what I'm saying? And I had to, it wasn't difficult, actually. It was a change for me to have to worry about a full family other than just myself and my daughter. You know what I'm saying? So that was the biggest change for me. And actually, it wasn't difficult. It was just a big change, So
let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
If your wife was here on this show right now and I posed that same question, would she have a different response? Meaning, and let me go a little further. You said it was easy for you. would she say the same, that your transition from being a bachelor to going to a husband and caring for a full family was an easy transition? Would she say would be that smooth as you're expressing?
I think she would.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she would. Yeah.
Okay.
It
So
just
you got.
it felt natural, and the biggest thing is what I wanted, and I think it's what she wanted too. So I think you gotta. For me, I had to mature and get that mindset to say, "Hey, I want to be married, and I want this to work, and all that good stuff." And she was there before. She was already there. And for me, that was that probably was the biggest change for me. If that was before we got married, though, it was knowing that I actually wanted to be married and for this to work and be with this person and everything, be with her. So.
All right. So when did you go from not wanting to be married or not ever thinking you would get married because of the other bad examples that you had of marriage to wanting to be married?
It probably changed for me. I started dating differently when I knew that eventually I wanted to eventually be married, and so. That was in my late 30s.
How old are you now?
48.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was in my late 30s when I got into a point. I had a couple things happen in my life, and it started to make me look at life differently. And I started looking for different qualities in women. Then rather than just dating and having fun, I started looking at qualities.
You start dating with intention.
Yeah, I started looking for wifely women.
Okay.
And the funny thing was, I don't take this the wrong way, but I didn't find a lot of wifely women at all.
Well, what does the word say about a wife? That he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So which means she already need to be, and it was so funny. That was my wife that kind of hit me to that. Like, you already have to be a wife, not prepare to be a wife. You need to be a wife so that because the word says when he who finds a wife finds a good thing, which means she's already a wife. She's already in wife mode, not getting married and then now you starting to become a wife. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I definitely agree with you. I think that's key, and that's and I want to make sure that people understand that, especially women, like, and men as well. But you already need to be that when he finds you.
Yeah.
If that's your desire to be married, you already need to be a wife, already in that mindset. So when God sends that man your way, because that's what's going to happen, you're already a wife. You already in that mode, so it'll be easy for you to fall into that lane. And not saying there's not going to be any difficult times, but you already need to be that and not preparing yourself to be that when he finds you. You already need to be a wife.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I believe that to be true.
Yeah. Sex or an apology? Which do you prefer?
Both.
I'm guy. Right answer. I know that's right. They got to be held accountable. Yes. So, okay. Tell me a little bit about that. Like because I actually did a show on that, sex versus an apology, and guys like, oh no, I prefer the sex or whatever. I'm like, what is this? So you're not gonna hold your wife or your woman accountable? It's okay because now you're sending the wrong message. You're never going to be held accountable for your actions or whatever you've done to inflict some type of pain on me, and just because you feel like, okay, if I give him the booty, that's my apology. Like, no, like it doesn't mean we can't have sex, but you need to own up to what you did, or whatever the case may be.
Can I say something first? You just hit on a big
word, accountability. It's your show.
Accountability. That was key for me with my wife. Okay. So, my wife told me, when she explained to me about her, her divorce with her ex-husband, she told me she was half at fault with it.
Oh,
with the divorce. And literally, that was the first time I have ever heard a woman take accountability for their previous relationship not working. Every time it's always he did this, he did that.
Yeah.
You know, it was his fault. He was cheating. He was doing this. She took accountability, and you know, I was like, I was in shock. Because I've never seen it in my family, none of my friends or anything. You know, she was the first woman I know that's taken true accountability, you know, for it. And I really looked at her differently when she told me that.
Let me ask you this, Ken. Your wife in that moment, did you delve into that a little deeper? Like, what was it? What made her come to the realization, like, hey, some of that was my fault. The way that the marriage being steered towards divorce. Like, what made her come to that? Was that because I think you do gain some perspective after if you're self-aware. I think you gain some perspective. But what made her come to that realization? You know, some of that was me.
Because she said it was a failed relationship, and she was partially responsible for it. So they both had a hand in the relationship not working. So, you know, whenever I talk to other people, and this is for men too, you know, I talk to other people, everybody always say it was the other person, and they take no look at themselves. I think that's the hardest thing to do, to be able to look at yourself.
It is.
And look in the mirror and say, you were wrong, you know, or you did something wrong.
Right.
And especially for women, you know, especially for women. And you know, just her doing that was big for me. That was really.
Let's talk about that, because you said that especially for women. Why do you think it's so hard for women?
Because I think they have the support and encouragement of other women, and you know, it's easier to play the victim than take responsibility for your own actions.
Okay. I'm about to push back on that, but I think I know where you're going. Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know. That's pretty much it.
So they really have that. You know, girl. Yeah, he this, because they now start to wear the shoes because of their bad experience. Like, yeah, I understand, but not ever asking their girlfriends, girl, can you take a look at what did you do? Nobody ever asked that question.
Nobody ever said that. You just always assume that the woman is right. You know, that the woman is right. And that's in all perspectives. That's in a lot of things that go on in relationships and everything. You just automatically assume that the woman is right. At least from what I see from my perspective.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's not always true. I've seen a lot of wrong women, you know, who do both things in relationships. I've seen a lot of, even when it comes with, you know, children and custody of kids, you know, it's a lot of, you know, just because you're the mother of the child doesn't mean you're the best, most fit parent for a child.
Right.
And just because you're the wife doesn't mean you're the best, most fit wife. You know, you know, I think women get a lot of leeway with those things in our society, and I think that's what causes a big issue with it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there, brother. I think that. And this is not to vilify women. I want to make sure, hey, I'm not trying to vilify. No, we're not trying to vilify them at all. I think that the narrative has always been, because you spoke on it earlier. Women have the support, so they get a chance to go to their girlfriends and be like, "Yeah, girl, yeah, I understand. He ain't this and he ain't that. Men don't know." You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, "Hey, what part did you play in that?" They don't get that. But I think as men,
from their mothers too.
Yeah, from their mothers too.
Yeah.
And I think the narrative is that, and even when men, let's say I'm having a problem and I come to you, the first thing men is going to ask,
"What did you do?
What did you do?"
Right. What did you do?
That's the first thing we're going to ask. And sometimes that's the bold part too, because if the narrative is always pushed that women don't do no wrong, they're always right, it's always our fault. We, on the other hand, the first thing we ask one another, bro, what happened? What did you do? It's like we blaming the guy. Like, wait a minute, why are you so to make you assume that I did something? You know what I'm saying? Right. So that has to change as well. Like, and I'm not saying that question should not be asked, but it needs to be what happened. Not necessarily saying you have to point blame, but I think it's huge when women come to one another because they have that support element among themselves. But then to say, what happened? What did you do? What part did you play in that? What could you have done differently? You know what I'm saying? And that I
Right.
don't think that question is ever asked of women.
Right.
I don't think
Not
that
at
question
all.
is ever
Not
asked.
at all.
I don't think they ask. But men, on the other hand, the first thing we do is like, bro, what happened? What you do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
It's just automatically assumed,
it's a,
and then we
that
know. So, the killer is, I think women know that the women are sometimes the issue, but they give each other support and kind of make it easy for each other. So,
yeah,
it's easy to me. It seems to be a bit easier for them to be able to
blame us.
not really look at themselves,
Yeah. It's kind of a cop out, a way out, instead of taking ownership, accountability. Because at the end of the day, it takes two. And I didn't enter into this relationship by myself. We in
Right.
this together. So how did we wind up here? What part did I play in it? What part did you play in it? And take ownership. And again, it doesn't mean that you're completely at fault, but I do have to take ownership of the part that I played in
Right.
the demise of the relationship. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So yeah, that definitely I definitely think that's key. Who's the and we talked about sex versus apology. You said you you would prefer both. Who's the aggressor, the initiator in your in the intimacy portion of your relationship?
Both of us actually.
Okay, all right. Do you and your wife still date?
Yeah.
Okay,
We play cards every Monday and Tuesday.
together, just y'all two?
No. We have a group of individuals that we play cards with, a group.
Okay,
And then on Mondays we dance. We do hustle lessons, and
okay,
so we're out multiple times a week, and usually every other week we have people over and we play cards and stuff. So we play cards and dance, and so we're out every week doing stuff.
okay. That's
Yeah.
what's up. That's what's up. Um, Being married, like if you had to give yourself some advice prior to getting married, what advice would that be? And I want to know, what advice would you give your son prior to getting married?
So my advice to me, and my friends know this, and my wife knows this, and everybody, I always I always tell Angela that she met me at the right time. And if she met me anytime beforehand, I probably would not have been a good husband.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I know that about myself. It took me a
Yeah.
long time to get, more mature or whatnot. So, and to be ready for marriage. So I would say that about myself. As far as for my son, wow, what's a good thing? What's a good way to say this? So get yourself together. Make sure you can take care of yourself. So be self-sufficient, make sure you can be able to take care of a family, and then know exactly what it is that you want, and take your time. And trying to find a person, and know that you're ready to be able to do that.
Okay.
I think a lot of times, a lot of my friends that have gotten married and divorced, a lot of them got married younger. And I honestly don't believe they were ready to be married. Whether it be in the responsibility of taking care of a family, or just being with one woman for the rest of their life, or not getting it out of their system, or still, whatever, just not knowing their spouse well enough, and this and that. I think all that takes time. And then I think as you get older and date more, mature more, you get a better feel for what kind of things you like and what kind of things you don't like. And then when it is time for you to get married, you know what to look for.
Do you think that, and this is my opinion, I think that men, black men, doesn't matter whether you're black or white, but I definitely think black men shouldn't get married to after they're 30, 35.
You know what? I totally agree with that, and I always say that. I think, because I was just having this conversation with the kids the other last week, and because of our culture, because of the rate of our non-two parent household rate, was it like 70% of our children are born without mothers
parents in the home.
to a single family home. The people that we idolize, our ball players, our rappers, and this and that, who always got a lot of women around and stuff. We don't get to see that family structure early enough, and we don't get not all of us, but a lot of us, a lot of young Black boys do not get to see our
how a man is supposed to treat a woman,
how a man is supposed to lead his household. And I think what happens is that we get this, we always get this narrative of the strong, independent Black woman, blah blah blah, this and that. That comes into play with this because we've got a lot of our mothers playing dual role, playing both roles in the household. And so what I see a lot is the mother is strengthening the daughter and weakening the son.
Not intentionally,
but it just because of the way things are. And I think it puts a stunt on our growth in general.
I agree,
to be able to go up and be men and be able to lead our household. So it takes time to develop that and see that. And
absolutely.
And it makes it difficult. I think a lot of our boys are emasculated as young boys, either because of the anger towards that the mother might have towards the father, or just the mother's general overall feeling about men in general. And a lot of that, I think, gets taken out on our young men. And if there's no other man there in the household full time, and I don't mean guys running in and out of this, and I'm talking about a full working Black man in the household, going to work, taking care of the bills, leading his household. If we don't see that, we're not going to know that. And I think it's more of that than the opposite. From what I see, I think it's more of that than the opposite.
No, I think the numbers support that. I definitely think the numbers support that. If we did pull the statistic, I definitely think the numbers support that. I think it's they say it's hard to multitask. I mean, women been doing it for so long, but it's kind of hard. To your point, when you made the analogy earlier, how women, they strengthen and pour into their daughters, and they kind of unintentionally weaken their sons. You know what I'm saying? My theory used to always be, if there's no man in the house, raise the son to be the kind of man you will want in your life. Raise him. But I understand that still has to be difficult on a woman, because you don't know what it takes to be a Black man. You could do the very best you can. I mean, thank God, my mother when her and my father separated, then she ended up getting remarried to my bonus dad several years later. I think my sister Sean might have been a baby at the time. And so I've had men in my life. There's my mother didn't have multiple men. It was just either my father or my bonus dad. But so there was always a man in the house with us. There was never a time where there wasn't a man in the house with us and me coming up. So I saw that. But I told my wife, I never really had a desire to be married, not because I saw bad examples of marriage. I think what had the impression on what took a hold of me was the culture.
Yeah,
it was the culture for me. Like what I saw, the examples, the hustlers, the players, the drug. That's what I gravitated to. That's what I want. And
the ball players, the singers,
but it wasn't even the ball players for me. It was the rappers and the niggas I saw in the street hustling.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That was my example. I'm like, I'm not getting married and miss all this. Like, no,
everybody will be a player.
Yeah, I'm not. I ain't had that wasn't even on my mind.
Right.
But I did, and I played sports and stuff in school, and I don't know what that dynamic might have been had not again. No disrespect to my bonus dad, but he wasn't like a real strong presence there. He was there, but it wasn't a lot. My mother was the disciplinarian in that household. Like he didn't, he wasn't the one that was, having the talks with us or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of, and I remember specifically my mother saying, I'll never forget this. She said this so many times. I need to make sure my girls are okay. Y'all gonna be all right. Y'all gonna be okay, but I need to make sure my girls are okay. And as I got older, I'm like, that was the wrong approach to take.
Yep.
You raise and love them both.
Yep.
You raise and love them both, you know. But so we do play games on this show. And one of the games we're going to play today is Lyrically Correct. This is the 90s 2000 hip hop version. So we'll be asking some questions for this to kind of make things interesting. And then we'll get back to some of the questions on marriage and stuff.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I went, well, this is the 90s. I do have 80s and I have oldies but goodies. Which would you prefer?
90s.
Okay, so we're going to stick with the 90s. All right. Keke Wyatt can picture her and Avant in the living room next to what?
Keke Wyatt and Avant, they used to sing My First Love together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You don't know? All right. By the Mantelpiece.
Okay.
Mantelpiece. All right. Here's the next one. What was the first thing that came to Usher's mind when his chick on the side said she was 3 months pregnant and was keeping it?
Telling his girl.
It was close. I'm gonna get that to you. It was you.
Was it what?
No, the answer was you.
Oh,
But,
okay.
yeah, I'm gonna get that to you. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
close enough. Yeah. All right. Here's the next one. Who? And that's a question. Who? The question.
Who is that?
Yeah. That's your answer. Who is that?
Yeah, you said who, and I'm supposed to finish the question.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Yeah. No, who is Mike Jones?
Oh, Mike Jones.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Jones used to be one of my favorite singers.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, here's the next one. What does Johnny Gill want her to put on after her red dress and high heels?
Put on your red dress and slip on them high heels and maybe that sweet perfume.
There you go, bro.
It sure smells good on you.
There you go. All right. What does P.D. Pablo want them to do after they take their shirt off?
I know P.D. Pablo. I don't know the song. So, no, I don't know.
Okay. Twist it around their head and spin it like a helicopter. All right. Here's the next one. Why did Nelly tell her to take off all her clothes?
Because it's getting hot in here.
It's getting hot in here. That is correct. That is correct. All right. What has your spouse taught you about yourself? What have you learned about yourself? Since being married, what has your spouse taught you about yourself?
Prioritizing my peace.
Okay.
I used to be a really stressful guy before Angela, and I've learned how she's taught me how to make it so that I'm not so stressed out about stuff and make sure my peace is number one.
Okay.
Yep.
How does she help you do that? Like, and how, and tell us, what do you do in order to prioritize that piece that you're speaking about?
Well, she's a good organizer, and that's something I wasn't good at initially. Mm-hmm. And so she helped me organize a lot of things and get them together, and it made a lot of less stress for me.
Okay.
And then when we were going through the ordeals of the child custody battle, she was there for me from jump. Mm-hmm. Helped me put everything together, all the records, everything, and it helped me win the case. So she was a big support and a big help for that.
Man, they good at that, ain't they?
And that took off a lot of pressure. Took off a lot of stress.
Okay.
She made things easy for me. So,
awesome, Awesome. Yeah. Do you know your wife's love language?
Yeah.
You do? What is it?
Giving. Quality time.
Okay. Does it change? I'm gonna give you a hint. It does change. Sometimes you have a primary love language, then you have a secondary, and sometimes it changes depending on what's going on. Do you know what her
communication?
Okay.
Communication, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess it would change. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it does
yeah,
change.
yeah.
Do you recognize when your wife is like, say, stressed out or in a bad mood? Do you know it off rip, or do you kind of find out the hard way?
I know it.
You know it.
Yep.
Okay.
And she knows when I'm stressed out too or upset.
Okay.
So
How do you give each other that space that you need in order to deal with whatever is going on? What do you do?
I just talk to her, and you want to talk about it, babe, right now or
Okay.
not? And and either sometimes if I'm not ready to talk about it, we'll wait a little bit and then talk, or if it is something we're ready to talk about, then we'll talk about it. So we don't pressure each other.
Pressure each other.
That's key. You don't pressure it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about that. What do you think are the keys to a good, healthy marriage? In your opinion?
You gotta be for us it is agree to disagree.
Okay.
That's key, because and for us, my wife and I, we've never had an argument.
Huh?
We've never had an argument.
Come on, bro. I'm about to end this right now.
I'm serious, bro. We have never had an argument.
Never
had an argument. No.
Explain to me how that has happened.
Well, we agree to disagree with stuff. So, we both have opinions on stuff, and there may be something that she might feel strongly about, and I may have a different feeling about it, but we don't really argue about it. We talk about it, and it is what it is. You feel that way about it, and I feel this way about it, and we just let it be. We don't try to make the other person change and see it this way. That's another big thing. She accepts me for me, and I accept her for her. I'm not perfect, she's not perfect, but we accept each other's flaws, and it's okay. None of our flaws are divorceable or anything like that. Right. So and I think that's something you have to know beforehand before you get married. Can you live with this? There are things I'll do, I'm sure, that she doesn't like, and vice versa. So you gotta
let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
What does she do that you don't like? Now you remember she's gonna see this, so be careful. What does Ms. Alphon? What does she do that you don't like?
I don't think about that. Let me say this. Can we start the other way first? I can tell you what I do that she doesn't like.
Okay. That's safer. That's probably safer.
Yeah. So I'm a real playful guy, and I talk a lot of junk.
Okay.
So sometimes I go overboard with it.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe not even sometimes. A lot of times I go overboard with it. I mess around all the time. So
She say you play too much?
Yeah, I play too much. Yeah. I'm the type that I like to scare her or scare people. I might hide in a closet and jump out at them or something. I do stuff like that, just playful stuff. Just
God, my wife, I'll be outside because she is scary. I can't. And I thought about doing practical jokes on her, but she will. I think she would have a fit. It had been times I didn't came in the house and she didn't realize I was here, and I done walked up on her. She done screamed at the top of her lungs. I'm like, what are you? And there have been times I've been in a house and she might have been preoccupied doing whatever she was doing, and I done walked up on her and told her, you done scared the life out of me. And I'm like, so I know if I jump out of the dark corner on her behind, she will have a heart attack. Oh, right, yeah. Right. You be ready to fight for real. That is fun. That is too funny. That is too funny.
And sometimes I'm loud too. So
I still want to know before we end this show. I want to know, what do you do? What does she do that you don't like? So I want you to keep thinking about that. All right.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah.
How often? So you said you and your wife have never had an argument. So I'm gonna take it in these 4 years that y'all been married, divorce has never came up.
No.
Okay. No. All right. So when y'all agree to disagree, it's basically like, it's just like, okay, well, I understand you feel how you feel. Now, in that moment, do you kind of walk away? She walks away, and y'all like, y'all both kind of feeling some kind of way about the conversation, and then you come back later on and just like, you just don't talk about it.
Yeah, that's happened where we come back later on, and we could be laying in the bed talking about it, and not agree to it, and then we might watch one of our TV shows together, and then it might be brought up a little bit later on in the evening. You know, I'm still just feeling kind of, you know, some kind of way about that or blah blah blah. But we talk about it, and for the most part, it, you know, it's not bad. We're not cussing at each other, trying to jump down each other's throat or anything like that. You know, we just don't agree on it. You know.
So in those agree to disagree moments, there's never been any voice raising, yelling, or anything.
Oh,
okay. No. All right. That's great, bro. Like, that's awesome, for real. That's
when I met Angela, one of the first things she told me was that she prioritizes her peace.
I'm letting you know off rip, brother. This is what I do. You're not about to steal that.
Prioritize her peace. And then another thing too, you know, my wife, she was married for a long time beforehand, and so I always tell her, I used to tease her and tell her I kind of benefit from her first marriage, because I said, you know what to and what not to do now.
that could be a plus, man. That could be
it is. I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is. Especially when you told me that she owned some of the responsibility of what happened in her first marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and that brings her that brings a different wisdom to her current marriage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that brings a different wisdom to the marriage.
And you know, another thing too, I think that really helps. And I just noticed this from dating. You know, my wife, she grew up in the household with her mother and her father. You know, and her father was, you know, there. He took care of the household, you know, paid the bills, blah, blah, blah. And I just think I've seen a difference in dating women who had their fathers in their lives versus those who didn't. And
give me some context in that.
Women that I've dated who've had their fathers in their lives tend to have more respect for men in general than women who don't.
Okay.
You know,
and that's key. That's key because
a babe that didn't have a woman that didn't have her father in her life, she the kind of woman that say niggas ain't shit. You know, niggas ain't shit, you know.
Right.
But most of the women I've dated who had their fathers in their lives, you didn't hear that kind of talk. You know? Not in general.
Yeah.
And not in abundance. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's so funny. I heard a woman say that a man would prefer a woman to have respect for him than to love him.
I think respect is, I agree. I think respect is more important than love. I mean, well.
No, I know where you're going. I know exactly how you feeling, brother, because you do want somebody to love you, but it is key though.
The respect is key. Yeah.
If you, I don't care how much you love, but if you don't respect me, that's hard. Like I don't think I'll care how much you love me if you don't respect me.
Yeah.
But I think women will argue, there's no way I can love you if I don't respect you. They would probably say that. They would probably say, in order for me to love you, I have to respect you. That may be their argument. I don't know if they would agree with that or not, but I think that would probably be their rebuttal to that argument from us. Is that the missus?
That's my daughter, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Just walked in. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's do a couple more from the game. We'll get ready to close out in a second, though. I appreciate you coming on here, Ken. It's been very interesting. Yeah, man.
Very much.
What was the name of the girl D'Angelo met in Philly?
Oh.
Come on, bro. Come on now.
Brown Sugar.
Brown Sugar. There you go. All right.
Brown Sugar.
You're right.
Yep.
When did that blue and red suit fits her hips so tight, so right? What does Fabulous say? When that blue
is that song, I really like what you come to. Is that the song you talking about?
I think so. When that blue and red suit fits her hips so right, what does Fabulous say?
I don't know. I know the song. I can't think of it right now.
He'd be like da 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 down.
Oh,
yeah. All right. Which side did Snoop hang his blue flag?
Which side?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I would get this wrong too because I don't know.
left side.
Left side is correct. The good guess.
You know why I said that? I was just thinking left wing and the right wing. So
Oh, okay.
left side. I just took a guess.
After he changes positions for Aaliyah, what did she want him to do?
Go back and forth.
Stroke it for her. Stroke it for her.
Stroke it for me.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
What did Trey Songz say she was going to think?
I don't know.
You don't know who Trey Songz is?
I know who Trey Songz is. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know the song. No.
Oh, okay. He invented sex.
Okay.
Yeah, he invented sex. So I asked you about what advice would you give your son now that your daughter's there. I'm about to put you on the spot. What advice would you give her prior to getting married?
Oh, God.
Actually, I've given you advice, haven't I, about marriage?
Yeah.
Is she okay? Is she okay with coming on screen?
You want to come on screen and tell them right quick?
I'm like a hot mess. What the heck?
That's okay, man. All right.
Oh no.
Come on here for a second.
What advice did your dad give you about marriage?
This is Ava.
Ava, how you doing, Ava? Thank you for coming on Black Marriage Chronicles.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part. What did you say?
No, I was saying thank you for coming on to Black Marriage Chronicles. So yeah, tell me, what advice did your dad give you about marriage?
He told me a relationship, it has to work between two people. It's not just one person who has to do all the work. It has to be both.
Mm-hmm.
In order for the marriage to work, you make compromises. Even if you're disagreeing with each other, you agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Not get into full-blown argument to the point where y'all are yelling at each other and stuff.
Right. Let me ask you something. How old are you, Ava?
17.
17. Do you have a desire to be married? Like, do the people in your generation, is that something that's even discussed?
Oh no.
Is it because you're too young? You're just not thinking about that right now, or is just not something y'all see yourself doing?
I mean, I want to get married one day, but at the same time, I don't want to feel like, especially in my generation now, I don't want to feel like I'm settling for less than other people had to do back then. That's what I feel like. I don't want to settle for less.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I definitely want to talk to your generation and other, especially generations under us, because I feel like the narrative out there now with women, like women, they're doing their thing. I don't need a man to do this. I don't need a man to do that. So I don't know if marriage is on their mind. That's why I asked her that question. Like, are y'all even talking about marriage? Is that something? So it's good to know that you say you do want to get married one day, but you don't want to settle for less. When you say you don't want to settle for less, what do you mean by that?
Like, I know like expectations are different nowadays. Like, there aren't that many expectations for like, I don't want to just say the man to do things, for the woman. Do you kind of understand what I'm saying? No,
so I didn't hear. To say it again.
Like, there aren't the same kind of expectations that are held up like today. They're just kind of bad. There really isn't much that, I don't know, it kind of seems like you shouldn't be expecting much out of that person.
Okay.
And
so are you saying that you shouldn't have expectations?
No, you should have expectations. It works both ways.
Okay.
If you don't have any expectations, then how is that other person going to, I guess, be the best versions of themselves they can be? I know that can't always be, but you wouldn't want to settle for that.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things too that kill a marriage, when you set expectations, because if you have an expectation of me and I don't know what that is, now I've essentially let you down, but you had this expectation. Then I'm not saying, I think there's generalities as far as expectation is concerned, but I think those,
it shouldn't be like unrealistic. I'm not talking about
right. Not only should they not be unrealistic, but you need to communicate those things to me, and don't villainize me when you haven't communicated those expectations to me and I don't meet them.
Right.
You know. Yeah. But Ava, thank you so much. So I appreciate your feedback and your perspective. But when I get ready to do a little group of your generation, I'm gonna see if your dad, if you want to be a part of the conversation.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
What season would you say your marriage is in, Ken?
What season?
Like if you had to give it a season, winter, summer, spring, fall, what season would you say your marriage is in?
Summer.
Summer. Okay. Why did you choose summer?
Usually in the summertime you don't you used to not work as much, and you get to spend more time, do vacations with you spend more time with your spouse. And for us, since we don't work, we get to spend a lot of time together and do things together, etc. So and that usually happens in the summertime when you have more free time to do stuff.
Okay. All right. If you had to describe your marriage in 5 words or less, how would you describe it?
I want to hear this.
Uh-oh.
One of the best decisions ever made.
Okay. All right. I love to hear that.
My daughter said that was 7 words.
It takes a woman. Don't they pay attention to detail?
No, it's 5 words. The best decision ever made.
No, you said one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? They pay attention to detail. They'll hear everything.
Right.
Well, Ken, again, I thank you for coming on to Black Marriage Chronicles and sharing that space with me. I like to, when we end the show, I definitely like to pray it out. Would you like to go ahead and end it with some prayer?
Yes.
All right, I'll take it. Go ahead and take it away, brother.
All right. Lord, we want to thank you for this day. We want to thank you for everything. We want to thank you for our lives. I want to thank you for letting us wake up this morning. Thank you for all of the blessings that you provide to us and have provided for us in our lives. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to share information with Mr. Al on this show. And thank you for him providing the opportunity for me to be able to do it, to give a perspective on Black marriage. Lord, we praise you for everything, life, everything. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I thank you, brother, again, for coming on to the show and sharing your perspective on marriage. I definitely hope that everybody who's tuning in, you get some value added to your lives if you are currently either married or thinking about getting married. And hopefully Ken was able to share some perspective on that. Definitely glad that was able to get the husband's perspective on marriage, because normally I have the couples together and they're both talking about it, but just to be able to get the male's perspective on marriage, I think was definitely key today. This I've never done this version of it. I've always had the couples together, but this was key. I think I'm gonna definitely try to, get more men and women separately talking about how they view marriage, how they think about marriage, what do they feel like those trouble spots are, and how they navigated through those. So I definitely appreciate you coming on here, brother.
And I appreciate. I think a big key to that too is couples who are happily married or who say they're genuinely happily married, because I know a lot of couples who aren't happily married. And they're going to give a different perspective, and I would think a positive outline on this, especially as Black folks. So Black marriages, I would hope you're able to find those who are happily married.
Absolutely. But you know what, the thing is, I've interviewed over 50 couples, and the one consistent thing with the exception of you so far, but I haven't, like I said, I definitely want to come back and interview you and your wife together, because I kind of want to get her take on how she sees the marriage. But one of the consistent things that I found is that they've gone through some trouble spots in their marriage, but they had that stick to it. It's like we're in this. Like, I'm choosing to be here. I want to be here. We're going to work this out. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what the tough times that bring, we're going to work this thing out together. And I think that was...
Divorce is not an option.
It's not an option. We're going to work it out. We're going to work it out. So with that, people would definitely thank you for tuning in to Black Marriage Chronicles. And we wish nothing but peace to you and your families until we see you again. All right. Peace.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good one, brother.
You too, man.